Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Crystal Lydiak, owner of Sacred Space Yoga School, Studio, and Energy Therapy Center located in downtown Greeley, Colorado. Classes are offered here 7 days a week. If you'd like to check out the schedule, go to ssyoga.com. And today I'm going to be covering the first limb of yoga. As I said, I'm going to be pulling more and more of an online 200-hour training that I teach here, making it available to others, probably at a premium rate later on. But for now, I'm just giving you little tidbits. We'll formally start taping with students a week from today. So my school is based on what yoga really is. I'm sorry, my kitty cat's visiting me right now. And yoga is the science of self-realization. And so the training that we do here is based on just that. According to Patanjali, the author of the Yoga Sutras, and in fact, the 8 limbs come from the second section of the Yoga Sutras. According to Patanjali, yoga is complete control over all aspects of the mind. That's what it is. Asana is just the third. What people in America, and probably, all over Europe, they practice postures, which is asana, which is just the third limb of yoga. And I will go over the third limb of yoga in the next, coming days or weeks. But the first limb of yoga are called the yamas, number 1, and there are 5 yamas. And what we're doing here basically is we're trying to get ourselves back from the distractions of the ego, right? As I go through them, the first yama is ahimsa, which translates into nonviolence. I think most of us in society have a controlled sense of not wanting to go to jail, so we're not going to resort to physical violence, but more importantly, focusing on what's going on in your head, what's going on in your mind, how many violent thoughts are you having, or how many violent thoughts are you taking in, and that'll come up in the niyamas as well about what you shuka, which is purity. But one of the best ways to kind of discover that is to kind of take let's say a day, if you could, to completely go into silence. No social media, no phones, no talking, no writing, just being in complete silence. You'd really get an idea very quickly about how many violent thoughts you have in a day. And this isn't a hard and fast rule. These are constructs of the ego, right? When you get upset. So you're just trying to pull your awareness back to the self. The second yama is satya, which is truthfulness. And the first time I thought about this, I realized in general, I've been called lacking tact, which would be brutally honest, which would be not in alignment with ahimsa. And so I thought, okay, how do I start speaking truth without being violent? But really, satya brings up the healing of our perceptions, because we really don't know what is true. If you've had a traumatic childhood, or anybody, I think you could hear people say, there's an incident that happens and 5 people are there, you're going to get 5 very different portrayals of what happened. It's because we all have a perception that is skewed based on our previous interactions in life. And a lot of times these beliefs and these perceptions come from even under the age of 7. So truthfulness is, first of all, finding out what is the truth. How do we heal our perceptions? Maybe a good idea to go into some free writing where you just write maybe some things I believe to be true about myself, and just allow yourself to free flow and write, see what comes up. I'm sure you could probably find some statements about yourself that you don't deem to be very truthful, but somewhere deep inside of you does believe they're true. Moving up to the third yama, which is asteya, non-stealing. I think that's self-evident. Obviously, you don't want to steal, but also when you think of stealing, you're going back into scarcity mode. And as will come up in the niyamas, the second limb is contentment is something we vie for. We vie to be present. If you believe in scarcity and you think you need something somebody else has, or if you want something that someone else is, that's a distraction. Now we're going up to the fourth yama, which is bramacharia. And I'm not going to go too far into this. This is sexual moderation, or I would say heightened sexual awareness. Because, it can be a very distracting element in your life. And I might go deeper into the yamas later on in the training. I definitely will in person, but I'm just giving you a general idea. You're always welcome to look this up for yourself. The fifth yama is aparigraha, and that is greedlessness. And greedlessness is kind of similar to asteya in that you are believing in scarcity. If you feel like you have to hoard or you have to buy and buy and buy, that kind of you're going to a point of non-contentment again. So I think that's all I've got to say for today, but, well, no, I'm going to bring up the eighth limb of yoga because we're making space for the divine to come through. And we just went through the yamas. The eighth limb is samadhi, which translates to ecstasy. And it's those moments in life when you get the spiritual truth of all that is. And that's all for today. Have a great day.